Hey folks, welcome back. I have a bit of a dilemma right now. You see, I'm getting to the age where I might want to have kids, and I want them to have a gambling addiction, as any good parent would. The only problem is you can't even enter a casino until you're like 19, but I really want to get them started early, so I just want to figure out a way to do that, you know? Oh, hell yeah!
Arcades were the shit back in the day, man. Or at least I assume they were. I don't know, I was born in 1996. But back before everyone had pocket-sized technology more powerful than the supercomputer that sent Neil Armstrong to the moon, arcades were really the only way to experience the biggest game releases at the time in the way that they were meant to be experienced. Pac-Man, Galaga, Dig Dug, and later games like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and Final Fight drove kids and weird adults in the millions to go hang out in a dark building with sticky floors to immediately pass out from sensory overload from all the flashing lights. An experience truly like no other. Now, of course, the only problem with arcades is the fact that you had to pay to play the games. Sure, they were only a quarter per session, but these games were made to be really hard to suck down as many quarters as possible. So, I mean, in order to stand a chance of getting past the first level of Ghosts and Goblins, you were looking at a good chunk of your mom's or your rent money. Now, of course, there was always alternatives. Pretty much every popular arcade game at the time had a version on the Atari 2600, but, I mean... yeah, there weren't really alternatives. Say what you will about the quality of Atari 2600 games, but Atari knew what everybody wanted. People back then were willing to do just about anything to be able to play Burger Time in their bedroom. At any cost.
It was a good business model for Atari. Back then, there was no real way of telling that these games were garbage, so the average consumer just thought, Pac-Man? In my house? Sign me up! However, Atari founder Nolan Bushnell's success wasn't owed just to video games. He also founded a series of arcades himself called Chuck E. Cheese's Pizza Time Theater. Yes, the guy who founded Atari also founded Chuck E. Cheese. I don't know why, but that pisses me off for some reason.
Okay, hear me out. You're at an arcade playing some skee-ball and you think, this is okay, but I wish that I had a slice of grocery store frozen pizza. And I wish that there was a man in a rat costume standing behind me staring at me with his dead, soulless eyes. Well, fear not, dear consumer, for there exists a business that can fit all those requirements and then some. Chuck E. Cheese, formerly known as Chuck E. Cheese's, formerly known as Chuck E. Cheese's Pizza, formerly known as Chuck E. Cheese's Pizza Time Theater. Jesus Christ. Yeah, in 2019, after 25 years of being called Chuck E. Cheese's, they decided, the S needs to go, damn it! Chuck E. Cheese is a weird company, man. It's a famously mediocre arcade with famously mediocre pizza, and yet it's managed to stay in business for the last 43 years. What the fuck? Like, I've never met anybody who's been to Chuck E. Cheese more than once. I went once when I was 6 for somebody's birthday party, and I have literally no memory of it whatsoever. I would go now to evaluate the experience, but I'm pretty sure anyone who goes into Chuck E. Cheese past the age of 13 gets put on some government watch list. But let's be real here, the main appeal of Chuck E. Cheese isn't the pizza or the arcade games. No, there's one other aspect of the experience. Yeah, basically while you're sitting there getting heartburn, this group of robots stand up on stage and sing songs for some reason. So let's meet the gang, shall we? First up is Charles Entertainment Cheese, and what the f*** is this? Why is this the first picture that comes up when you Google Chuck E. Cheese? Then we got Jasper T. Jowls, who's a dog, Pasquale, who is a 100% not offensive guy, Stevie Nicks, and, Mr. Munch. Alright, thanks for the music, guys.
Okay, let's be honest here. I think the consensus on this is, ew, scary, get it away! And I feel like it's been like that for a long time. So taking that into consideration, what if we took this, and we...
Five Nights at Freddy's is a 2014 indie survival horror game developed by Scott Cawthon, and Scott Cawthon alone. I know that in recent years the reputation of this game has... But when this game came out back in 2014, it was pretty cool. Like, sure, nothing to write home about, but considering this idea of animatronics being terrifying was so widespread, it made sense to make a horror game like this. At the very least, it's pretty cool that one guy made all of this on his own.
However, after this game came out, I don't think I can express to you, like, the hype went insane. Like, there were toys and books and comics and the fan theories, and there was a movie coming out, and everything was just Five Nights at Freddy's, Five Nights at Freddy's, Five Nights at Freddy's. Like, it's an indie game about looking at cameras. What are you guys losing your fucking minds about?
And it wasn't just merchandise. Scotty was pumping these games out like they were made on an assembly line. The franchise had 4 installments by its first birthday. Jesus Christ, man, was somebody holding you at gunpoint, making you develop games day in and day out?
You know, I haven't heard anybody talk about these games in a long time. I wonder why. Back when Scott Cawthon was sneezing these things out like nobody's business, lots of YouTubers were jumping on it to milk the views. Especially MatPat. Really, really especially MatPat. Maybe he stopped talking about it. Let's see. Okay, that is very clearly not the case. He is still uploading 15+ minute videos on a consistent basis about Five Nights at Freddy's lore. I'd be hard pressed, I think, to find a YouTube channel that has that many videos about the Bible, but whatever. So why is it that I never hear anybody talk about these games anymore? Maybe I'll Google it. Yeah, that checks out. Let's take a look at the games, shall we? But we're just gonna look at the first 4, because I don't care. Leave me alone.
Five Nights at Freddy's the first one. Holy shit. You play as a faceless, nameless gentleman who has accepted a job as an overnight security guard at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, a Chuck E. Cheese-style pizzeria and arcade, perfect for birthday parties or giving your kids chickenpox. You know, never hurts to get it out of the way. Presumably absent from the Indeed ad for the job is the fact that at night, the animatronics come alive and assume you're an exoskeleton. So they attempt to violently contort your body into one of the suits. So let's meet the gang, shall we? First we got Freddy Fazbear, the namesake of the restaurant. Nothing wrong with this fella, he's got a little hat and a bow tie. I like the name Freddy Fazbear, it seems like kind of a play on how silly Chuck E. Cheese is. Next we got the rabbit, whose name is Bonnie. Bonnie the bunny. Well, that's not as imaginative, but I'll give the game the benefit of the doubt. I'm sure the other characters have better names. Next up, we got the femme fatale of the group, a chicken named Chica. Okay, alright, there's one left, and to be fair, Chica and Bonnie don't have outward physical characteristics that would lend to them having weird names. But this last one is very clearly a pirate, right? He's got a hook hand and an eye patch. Surely this gentleman is known as Swashbuckle or Captain Fox or something, right?
The bunny's name is Bonnie, the chicken's name is Chica, and the fox's name is Foxy. Why not, right? F it. Who cares? If there exists a reason to try on this planet, I haven't figured it out.
According to Scott Cawthon, the names of the characters were temporary, and he had plans to give them official names, but later the nicknames grew on him and they just stuck. Now for those of you who don't understand bullshit, allow me to translate. There we go. Basically, you just sit here and try to survive from midnight till 6 a.m. for, you guessed it, 5 nights. You got these 2 doors you can close and a bunch of security cameras to look at to keep an eye on Will and Grace over here. The only problem, however, is the fact that this restaurant is equipped with a power generator that runs on 2 AA batteries. So you're basically guaranteed to run out of power by the end of the night. If you pay attention, you'll notice that El Pollo Loco only comes to the right door and Naomi Watts only comes to the left. But they never tell you that, so it's reasonable for a first-time player to assume that anything's possible. You really do have to suspend a lot of disbelief to get into this, though. Like, who in their right mind would come back to this job after the first night? Why do the doors require power to close? Like, can't gravity just do that? What's with the power thing? Like, is the power constantly going out during the day as well? I don't understand.
Like I said, the first Five Nights at Freddy's was a neat little inoffensive indie horror game. Nothing to base your personality off of, but that didn't stop people, did it? So like I said already, after the first one, Scott Cawthon.
Five Nights at Freddy's 2, Jesus Christ. So we're in a whole new restaurant with new animatronics and... oh my god. Yeah, I'm not going through all these. Basically, the main crew has new designs that are a lot more visually appealing, but rotten, decrepit versions of the old animatronics are still there for some reason. Fun fact, this guy is actually based off of me as a kid. And fear not, dear viewer, Scott Cawthon heard your complaints. Chica is now thick. Like, look at her thighs and her hips. Why is she so sexy now? Wait, can I rephrase that? So I guess after a lot of complaints, they updated the office to be significantly more dangerous this time around. You have a humongous open door that serves no purpose whatsoever, and also 2 animatronic-sized vents on either side of the room that also serve no purpose. But fear not, valued employee. If the animatronics come into your room and attempt to kill you, they gave you a fucking mask to put over your head. Problem solved! Look, I'm a big fan of horror, so I'm willing to suspend some level of disbelief. Like, even this is pretty out there, but I'm willing to accept this if only just because of the context of the story. But this is just so stupid, it completely leaves the realm of possibility. What is the purpose of this giant open door? Why aren't the vents at the very least covered? Like, you could make the animatronics trying to break through the grating, it could be a whole part of the game. If the animatronics are deterred by a Freddy mask, why not just be wearing a full Freddy suit at all times? Why does this company even need overnight security? What are they afraid of? Somebody breaking in? This building is crawling with homicidal robots. Hell, the new ones have criminal databases implanted into their brains. brains. If somebody tried to rob the place, the robots would just go break their fucking legs. Jesus Christ.
Five Freddy 3.
Alright, so this time around we're in like a haunted house kind of thing, and I think this game makes a little bit more sense than the last one. Don't get me wrong, the premise is still stupid, but like at least the attraction hasn't opened yet, so it's a little bit more reasonable to assume that maybe the people involved haven't fully figured out the danger in the situation. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's not the case, but whatever. This time around, we only got one friend to worry about, and it's a literal fucking mutilated human corpse stuffed into a rabbit costume.
Okay, maybe this one's still pretty fucking stupid.
There are hallucinations of the other animatronics. They walk by your window, appear in the cameras, jump scare you, and cause technical malfunctions and stuff. But the only one that can actually kill you is this big lad. But you gotta keep track of the audio, camera, and the ventilation systems, which get tampered with and malfunction all the time. I hate to say it, but I think this is actually the best one out of the four. Like, I mean, the premise is still kind of silly, but it's got a much darker atmosphere. The monster making the technology malfunction is kind of cliche, but it's inoffensive and it fits the tone. Also, like, the last game had like 1,000 enemies, so it was just like way overkill. But this guy is like way scarier, because like you're struggling just as much to handle everything, but he's the only one there. So like this one guy alone is as much of a threat as all this other garbage. And like, yeah, I know, jump scares are... But the phantoms and the hallucinations and stuff give this game more of a psychological horror vibe, which... it's okay. It could be worse. Don't be mistaken though, this game is still stupid. The whole thing about this business not yet being open would be a good explanation if this wasn't the third game in the series and this company didn't canonically have a history of trouble with haunted robots that have harmed not only employees but also customers. Like, why would they open this? Haven't these people seen Jurassic Park? Plus, like, they're clearly trying to pass off this new phone guy as a different character, but like, it's just so obviously the same voice actor.
Welcome to your new career as a performer/entertainer for Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Hey man, okay, I have some awesome news for you. First of all, we found some vintage audio training cassettes.
But Ben, I hear the noise emit from your big stupid ugly mouth. The third one is the best one, but I thought you said there was 4 of them.
"40 Nights at Bernie's Revelation Deluxe Edition, featuring Dante from the Devil." This one's stupid! So in this one, you're not a security guard sitting in an office. You're a kid in his bedroom just having a bad old dream.
Who among us hath not been there?
So I mean, like, yeah, it's a dream, therefore none of this is real, who cares? I mean, basically in this one you're just running from door to door listening to footprints or breathing or whatever. So that means you just run up to the door and you stand there, and if you hear something, you close the door. And you run to the other door and you stand there and you listen and you close the door. Go to the closet in the middle of the room, you look in there, you close the door. So yeah, this one relies very heavily on sound. Right at the beginning of the game, there's a screen that's like, ooh, crank your headphones. Bet you can't guess what the reason for that is. Like, look, okay, alright, look, I think the idea of not being a security guard is neat. I think it's, of course, they were gonna have to eventually try something different, but like, come on, man, is this the best you could do? Like, I just don't understand why this guy felt the need to make 4 games in less than a year. Like, if there was more time to breathe, maybe the hype wouldn't have died out so fast because people wouldn't have gotten so exhausted. And you could have had more time to make something that wasn't exactly the same 4 times. Like, this game could have involved, like, walking around the house or something. And maybe, I don't know, you walk into rooms and it's all crazy. The layout of the house doesn't make sense. Maybe, like, some layers of fear shit with like crazy visuals and stuff, which would all make sense given that this takes place in a nightmare.
So that's 5 Nights at Freddy's, I guess. There's just a ton of stuff that I didn't get into, like the plot and the fan theories and the other games and whatnot, and the reason I didn't get into that is because, like I said, Game Theory has a human lifespan's worth of 5 Nights at Freddy lore videos, so if that's really what you're looking for, go for it. It's crazy to look at the hype for this game just go up and up and up and then crash and burn. Nobody fucking cares anymore, man. And that's probably because 4 of them came out over the course of a year, so of course people got tired of this shit. Like, how does even a studio, let alone one guy, make 4 games in 11 months? Like, I know that he used to make Christian games. Was God himself helping this guy make these? And look, I know kids like these games, and whatever. If you like these games, God bless. I think they're stupid. But I don't think you're stupid. Maybe you are. I don't know. I don't know you. You could be very stupid.